Hi everyone, I just wanted to show you a camera that I have in my collection. It's a Yashica EE Rangefinder. This used to be Kim's dad's camera. Great little camera, in fantastic condition. The thing about this camera is it has a Yashica 45mm f1.9 lens, which is really pretty good. Hopefully it'll be nice and sharp. I haven't actually put any film through it at the moment because when I first got it, the aperture wouldn't open properly at all the settings. It seemed to be stuck on f16, which is a smaller aperture. Now, what I remember reading online was that sometimes when you have a self-timer on a camera, and if I can show you just here, just there where I'm pointing, you can see that's the self-timer. And I guess the modern word is it sets a timer so that you can run in front of the camera to take a selfie. But anyhow, look, if that little spring that's in the self-timer hadn't returned to its normal position, it could stop the shutter from opening correctly. So what I did was I got some isopropyl alcohol, 90% alcohol, which is really good. And what happens is when you spray it in the camera, it clears up a lot of the dust and the residue that can gather over the years and loosens up all the fittings and everything inside. So that's what I did. And sure enough, it loosened up the aperture, and now I'm able to use it at every aperture setting on the camera. So that's good. That means I can use the camera. If you have a look at this lens, you can see that around the outside of the lens itself, it appears to be like glass. Well, it's not. These are little, it's made of plastic, I guess. They're called Selenium Cells, and what they do is they take in the light and they measure the actual light that's coming through the lens. So that way you can measure for the correct exposure. And how you do that is when the light comes through and you're looking through your viewfinder, which is just here, there is a smaller window above the viewfinder just there. And when you look through that little window, it's a bit difficult, but to the left there's an area that's white, and to the right there's an area that's red. In the middle is a little needle, and if you've got the correct exposure set for your photo, the needle will move into the white area to show that you've got the correct exposure. Now, I've tried a few different settings on the camera, but it doesn't seem that the needle's moving, so possibly due to the age of the camera or something like that. But anyhow, I do have a light meter that I can use to set the correct exposure. One other thing that I had a problem with this camera was opening the back. It was really, really stiff. And there's, as you can see, just there's a little lever sort of thing, a button you can push that opens the back of the camera to put the film in. Hopefully it'll work. Just got to get the right angle, and there we go. Everything's really nice and clean inside. The winder still works really well, and I've got it set up here so that, there you go, that's the largest aperture there. That's f1.9. So just by putting that cleaning fluid through the self-timer lever area, I've been able to fix that shutter problem up that I had originally. Look at the top of the camera. It's got the little counter here that tells you what number you're up to and all that sort of stuff. Over here is the rewind knob where you can rewind the film. It's really well. If you have a look just here, I don't know if you can see that, it says 1.9, but I can also set it on automatic so that it just becomes like a point and shoot. It goes from bulb up to 1/500th of a second, and just in here it tells me what ISO I can set the film. It can go up to it can take it up to a an 800 ISO film. So there we go, a little piece of history. sentimental value, no batteries, and great little camera. Can't wait to get a film in it and see how it turns out. Fantastic.